Awesome.
Welcome everybody to Around the Lake, another episode of the Best in Business here at Lake Norman. We have Summer Yarbrough, who is with Rustic in Maine. We also have Greg Zook with Zook Photo. Summer, I'm going to start with you. You kind of got a little niche business. This is a jewelry business, but a niche business. Fairly new member of the Chamber of Commerce. Describe your product, a little bit about your business.
Oh, wow. We produce primarily wedding bands for guys, right? But people tend to think about the traditional all gold or maybe the silicone rings right now when they think of guys' bands. We actually put our spin on it. We want to tell the story of the couple that is getting married. So we actually have our own materials like 1903 rifle stock wood, titanium, gold, dinosaur bone that we can create a ring for somebody, or we can actually take the materials that are important to them and make a ring for them. So we've actually made a ring from pipe wood from a grandfather's pipe, flowers from the bouquet that the bride's going to use in her wedding. We've used oh my gosh, my favorite ones is a bandana from the dog. Like the dog died and passed, and they wanted the dog to be part of the wedding, so they put a little piece of the bandana in the ring with the for the groom. So yeah, it's very unique. People haven't really seen what we've done before.
Primarily men, but you do sell women rings. I see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the women's favorites will be, they use the elk antler, and they'll also like to use flowers. So we actually have lavender, like sea lavender and Provence lavender that we can put into the rings ourselves and different things like that. We basically, if you guys can dream it up, we'll try it. We don't do dead people's ashes. We do draw the line there. So there's a couple of things we don't do, but yeah, we'll try about anything.
And Greg, we met at the new member orientation, and we didn't plan that there'd be a photographer and a ring, but it seems like this is very compatible. Tell me about Zook Photography, Zook Photo.
Well, that's a good point. Thank you for asking, Bill. My career began as an illustrator for Warner Brothers. And so I was there for quite a while until about 2006 when the economy changed. And I probably would have stayed with them a while, but I always was running around with my little Pentax back before, digital, and used it for illustration technique. So it was a natural fit to go into photography. So I walked into celebrity and event, did that for a while. And as the pay scale on that kind of drooped a little bit, I went into weddings. The last big thing we did was 30 weddings before the year of the pandemic.
Wow.
So it was a little bit too much for us. And we found that because of that, and we loved weddings. I mean, to see Summer's eyes light up when she talked about the rings, dinosaur bone, I mean, how unique. Think of where wedding bands have come, how cool that is. We look at that the same way in photography. We want to give something that is a thumbprint of them that's unique. Behind me is an engagement shoot that we did for someone that they said, do we have to do this simple, let's walk through the woods? And I go, well, we can do that. But if it's your portrait, why don't we do something that's a thumbprint of you and raise the bar a little bit, make it a little more artistic.
Greg,
so that's what we.
Do you have a studio, or do you pretty much shoot on site? Or tell me a little bit about how you operate.
We do have a studio. We just opened up a studio in Old Statesville just recently. So, it kind of goes between the commercial world that I was so accustomed to and the personal world. So we're combining the two, and we're trying to make a good, when people say, well, what are you shooting? It's portraiture, but with an artistic flair. So we try to give like I said, we try to give something that somebody will recognize as them. When years go by, they go, oh, I remember that moment. Do we do weddings? Yes, but we limit them. We don't want to do 30 weddings in 1 year again. I mean, we really spent a lot of time with the bride. We were there when the bride was crying. You probably have heard it too, Summer, and things have gone wrong, and they just need somebody to talk. Well, we wanted to be there for that. So, with 30 brides and remembering every detail, that became tricky at some point.
I'm going to put up on the screen. I've got your website, Greg. Very easy to navigate. I was going through it a little while ago. That's probably one of the best ways for somebody to get a hold of you. Is that correct?
It is. Zookphoto.com.
I'm moving on to the website. Is there anything in particular that you would want to point out as we're looking at your website?
Well, I think we are eclectic to some degree, but we like people to be able to pick and choose through there, just like you would a menu, whether it be family, dance, which we're doing a lot of. And you can kind of see the way we approach it. If that family says, the woods are our jam, that's what we love to do. Well, guess where we're going? We're going to go walk in the woods, and we're going to try and give them something that's a little bit different. If Nerf guns, like you saw the top photo, is their jam, then get the kids out. We'll have them in the studio and we'll do a studio shoot. So we mostly shoot in studio right now, but we do go out, out into the woods, out pretty much anywhere that someone might, like the hockey shoot you're looking at right now. That was the senior shoot. So, he wanted to celebrate what he had done. So when he looks back 20, 30 years from now, he can remember that he was a hockey player for a while.
Beautiful photography.
Thank you so much.
You got any great lake shots yet?
In Lake Norman, we do in Lake Arrowhead, where we came from, but we're at a point right now where we're getting used to Lake Norman, and we will have some up soon for Lake Norman. So.
And Summer, I'm going to go over to yours, Rustic in Maine, same thing. I think you have a Facebook site as well, but your website's up, very easy to navigate. I was looking at some of the various rings that you have. That's probably, again, one of the best places for somebody to be able to look and find your information. Is that correct?
Correct.
Anything you would want me to point out on your website as we're looking at it?
Yeah, I think an important thing is just on the front page, you can navigate to any of our ready-made rings. About 65% of what we do sell are rings that we've kind of designed ourselves, a style that we've put together. And the other 35% is actually customization. So if you follow the website, you can go to either place. You can go see what we have already, the different styles that we have, and you can modify them a little bit, or you can follow that customization link and craft your own ring. And it's just, like I said, almost anything you can imagine. We'll try it. We have crafters that just love that challenge, and they love to hear the stories and be part of the stories of people's rings.
I have to ask you, Summer, how did you get into that? I mean, how did it dawn on you to move into something a little bit different than your traditional rings, like the gold or silver or something I might wear?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was actually raised in jewelry stores. My grandmother and grandfather and my parents both owned jewelry stores. So I swore I would never, ever, ever work in the jewelry business as a kid. And it just happened that about 6 years ago, my husband's, he had carpal tunnel because he has a blog and types and was in IT. And he went into our garage, made himself a little wood ring, and went out with it the next day. And the wood ring, somebody said, "Hey, can you make me one?" And it just took off from there, like literally. And it was just, I think people were craving something different. I think people are craving something that's a connection to who they are in the past. And when they see something unique on somebody else's hand, they're just like, "Oh my gosh, like tell me that story of that piece of wood or that metal, or why did you choose that inlay?" So what literally started as Michael drilling a hole in a piece of wood, 6-7 years ago, has become a business where we've actually handcrafted 20,000 rings at this point. So yeah, it's crazy. It's not what I thought I'd be doing when I was 44 years old.
Now, Rustic in Maine has a retail location. You want to share where it's located?
It's 11957 Rama Church Road here in Huntersville, really close to downtown. If you come to the Slice House Pizza place, you can quickly come by and check us out. I'm actually in our kind of customer service area. So we just love for people to stop by, or you can go online and set up an appointment to come visit us.
Greg, you had a shoot today. You were coming off of, I think, was it graduation?
It was. We did an event shoot for Woodland Schools. And it's a private school that their strength is science and education in that area. And so we did a initial shoot with them for Steam Fest, where all the kids put together these just incredible products. And we kind of, hit it off with them well. And they asked us to shoot the graduation of the seniors. And I've never seen a graduation quite this sentimental or impactful. Seeing these kids go off to do it, and they all seem like they're going to do great things. So it was an enjoyable shoot. Especially when you just see, you can think of like someone that, had seen, maybe it was Tesla, they're all inspired by that. And they're saying, well, who knows what's going to come around the corner in 10, 15 years from one of these students.
Greg, I know what sets Summer's business apart from any other, because it's a very unusual niche business. I hadn't seen anything like that before. But Greg, we have a lot of photographers. What sets Zook Photo apart from your competitors or anybody else in the photography business?
You know what? That's a really good point. We try to be, again, that personalization of a shoot. Just like I approached an illustration, I approach it from a different standpoint. A lot of people have picked up a camera in the digital age and began shooting, which is awesome. Photography is a wonderful skill to have, but we try to blend a little bit of my skill. My wife works right next to me, which is as an artist. So when I take that, when I meet a client, I almost like when you guys customize a ring, Summer, I like taking that, intertwining those personalities into it and making it a visual experience so that it's something different. When they see it, it's the best photography they've had. So for me, it's not necessarily competing, it's a style. And when people see the site and they say, oh, he's a little more edgy, or he puts a little more time into getting to know his clients, those things really make a difference. Once we have a client, we usually have that client for quite a while.
Yeah. Greg, we were talking before we came on that you were originally from Colorado. What brought you and your business to Lake Norman? Why Lake Norman, all the places you could have gone?
Well, I could tell you that when my sister moved out south, she talked about Southern hospitality. And I've never forgotten that, ever. And LA can be a cold world sometimes. My wife really twisted my arm to make that move because I've made so many connections there. But once I got out here, and my wife does have family nearby, I was charmed. I love it here. I love the people here. They're really real. They're sincere, they're kind, they're good people.
Summer, we were talking about you too. You're from North Carolina, but what brought you to Lake Norman? Why did you decide, hey, I want to have my business in Lake Norman? What drove you here?
Really, it's location. It's Lake Norman area has so much to offer as far as the grocery stores, all the different things. We just love this area. And when we were growing out of a garage, because we literally worked out of our home until we had about 9 employees, we just started looking around and trying to figure out where do we want to be. And we've been here at Rama Church Road for 3.5 years, I believe. And we have been looking for a more stylish location than where we're at. We're currently in the Briar Hills Industrial Park. So we've really tried hard to try to find something that's a little bit better fit for us. But we just love the people here in the community. And we've met, Brian from the real estate agency Invest Properties, and we've met Richard Pappas from First National Bank, and all these people that have really come around us and helped us as business owners. It's just really cool.
This is going to be pushed out. We're going to push this out to our membership next week. We'll put it on our social media. But next Thursday, the 9th of June, you're having an event at your place, a business mixer. You want to share a little bit about what we're doing next Thursday at Rustic in Maine?
Yes, so we're actually having a ribbon cutting ceremony at 5:30, and after that, we're going to be serving. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Wolfie's Barbecue, but people love Wolfie's Barbecue. So we're going to be serving Wolfie's Barbecue and some drinks and I think we might have popsicles. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what would be nice and cool and refreshing on a June night. And we actually have one of our crafters actually has a band called the Duke of Wellington, and it's a bona fide band. He's going to actually be playing with this band some music from all sorts of different decades for about an hour. So we're just asking people if they want to come out, eat some barbecue, check out our shop. We'll have some crafters crafting so you can see what the art of making a ring looks like. We'll have the building open for people to come in and just take a tour. And we're super excited to get out there finally. I mean, we kind of launched officially right before COVID, got in this building and everything shut down. And we're just eager to have a non-COVID year where we get to see people face to face and meet everybody.
I want to ask you about that. Did your business take a PPP?
We did take a PPP. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did that impact your business? I mean, and was there a local bank you worked with that you'd like to share that information?
Yeah, absolutely. That goes back to Richard Pappas at First National Bank. We absolutely adore him. And I grew up in a small town, and working with First National Bank and with Richard feels like that. Like they're a small town bank with big resources that are willing to help little people like us. So we absolutely adore them. I think that taking the PPP allowed us to continue to grow. We actually purchased our second building during that time. And if we didn't know that we had that PPP, that net to catch us for the lull of getting the ring orders in, we wouldn't have been able to take that risk. So that was huge for us.
How important is networking to your business and getting out there and meeting other folks?
Oh my gosh, I think it's huge because people can see an image on the website, they can see something on Instagram, and everybody's vying for people's attention now. But when you have a friend or you have a coworker who says, "Hey, I've actually seen this ring, I've actually met these people," I think that goes so much longer, so much further way to help with the business instead of all the social media and all these things that we're doing these days.
And Greg, I would assume same thing in photography, the references that you receive from one to the other. How important is those references? How important is getting out and networking with other business people?
Well, Bill, I really feel like that is more important than, just like Summer said, it's critical, because people oftentimes, when they do business, they're doing business with you, not just because you make a fantastic product, but they want to meet you. They want to have an experience with you. I can imagine having my ring done and meeting, you'll never forget those jewelers. We feel the same thing with photography. It's very, very similar idea. And because it's not one of those things you just go buy and walk away with. You've got to come back for that product, or you've got to, for us, they've got to be in front of that product. Networking and shaking hands is everything to our business.
And will you be able to get out next Thursday to the Rustic and Maine Business Mixer?
Oh, we're planning on it. We've got on the schedule right now, barring any unforeseen thing that my wife tells me, Greg, this came up. We're coming. So especially when it's a barbecue.
And I see, I mean, it's when I saw the two of y'all as potential people on the Around the Lake, I said, how compatible, a photographer and a wedding ring. I'm so glad I was able to get the two of y'all together today. That's going to be fantastic. And I see there could be a great relationship between the two of your businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's important because both of our businesses want to tell the story of the person, right? We're not trying to sell a product to them just to sell a product. It's like we really want to celebrate them, for them to be the hero of their story.
Oh, I love that.
Last question for each of you, and Greg, I'm going to throw it back to you. What can the Chamber of Commerce do to help your business continue to grow and expand?
Well, we're already seeing it. The networking events, that's probably one of the biggest things, just like what Summer has coming up, meeting fellow business owners, connecting with them, because it's not just about drawing business, it's also sharing stories. And people go through things together, just like Summer was talking about going through the pandemic. I mean, some of my friends that were in California that were part of a chamber or that were just good friends, getting a call from Sylvia or from you, Bill, or, boy, that lifts our spirits to say, how's business? What's going on? That's a chamber that cares.
Well, and Summer, you referenced Richard Pappas. He's a past board chair of our chamber of First National Bank. He was also responsible for our PPP as well. Mm-hmm. So we're very grateful. Same question to you. What can we do as a Chamber of Commerce to help your business?
Well, I think is remind us to slow down, because I think as business owners, especially with having been through COVID and all this unrest and turmoil that's going on right now, we can just spend our time with our nose down, our head down, just working. And we just need to sometimes just stop and actually have relationships with other people who are going through the same thing, right? So I think just making those connections and relationships, and I think, just knowing somebody in your own neighborhood goes a long way.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you for spending some time with us today and sharing a little bit about your business and a little bit about the Chamber of Commerce, and thank everybody for watching it. I hope both of you have a fantastic weekend and summer. I'm really looking for, I'm a South Carolina product originally. So I love barbecue. So I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to the mixer next Thursday night.
Yes, we'll see you guys
right.
then.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.
Bye now.